A huge homecoming week for Colorado State athletics, and it all kicked off with volleyball, sweeping San Jose State on Thursday. An historic night. We'll talk about that with head coach Tom Hilbert. I'm Matt Wozniak. Thanks for joining us. Coach, go back to San Jose State. You knew all of these milestones were on the table. Did you have any inkling that that would affect your team going into the match and their preparation?
No. I hope that it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the same thing we normally do. We didn't really talk about any of that stuff. I am happy for Jasmine, don't get me wrong, but you know, you get those things by playing the same way every week, and so that's what we wanted to do.
It sure seemed like you did. Jasmine Hanna not only set the all-time kills mark in the modern scoring era, she also led the team with 13 kills that night. Was it a concerted effort from Katie Oleksak to try and get her the ball and get that record out of the way early? It felt like it. She was getting fed a lot.
Well, she was getting fed a lot, but I think it's because she had a really good start.
Got it.
And she got hot, and Katie knows get her the ball when she's hot. It was, it was a good matchup for us. Jasmine going over that particular blocker. So, it was a good night for a lot of people. And I was really pleased with the way that we actually blocked their two best players. But then some of their other players, as always is, step up because they're not getting shadows as much. But it was really a good match.
Yeah, you said in your postgame comments about preparation, you felt like you had a really good preparation week getting in. It was blocking the one component. What other parts of your preparation came to fruition?
We want to serve the right people and serve them tough, and that came to fruition. And then we also did a good job that day of understanding, we call them trouble shots that other teams hit. Where do they go when they're uncomfortable or not taking a big swing? What kind of sort of crafty shots do they take? We did a good job of understanding that and didn't let a lot of those go down, and I thought that was a pretty key component to the match.
Who are the most important players in that kind of situation? Are you talking about your back row covering?
Players.
Yeah, because they've been improving as this season has gone along. I think it's been leaps and bounds over the last 2 weeks. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think we showed a really big improvement as we got into Michigan and then starting the conference season, and then we kind of were a little bit laxing, and now we've gotten a little bit better.
And the other big story out of that, individual achievement, head coach Tom Hilbert earns his 700th career victory. We'll address this here briefly. I've heard it from many coaches, men and women, through over the years who make these big career milestones. They say, the reason we got this way is because, A, I've been around a long time and I had really good players. I imagine that's the same playbook.
That's exactly right, yeah. It's, I'm blessed to have been able to do what I do for, what has it been now? 8, 21, 29, 37 years or something, 36 years. So I'm really blessed. And I think that, if you coach a long time, you're going to get a lot of wins. But nobody sits around and counts them. You know what I mean?
We do.
You do. Coaches don't sit around and count them. We're just worried about the next one. And, I'm happy that I'm here at CSU, and this is a great place to be, and it's provided me the opportunity to be successful.
Yep, an historic night here at Moby Arena for Jasmine Hanna and Tom Hilbert. And then they moved on to Nevada, and it could be a letdown match. Again, you never know. It's homecoming. There's a lot of emotion swirling around that, but you took care of business 3-0, although it did seem both teams were a little bit fogged in the beginning. It wasn't quite as clean and as crisp as you liked, but you powered your way through it, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. I thought, considering it was a noon game, and like you said, we came off of that big milestone game. Could have been a distraction, could have been a trap. And the players played pretty well, and they did the right things. And we got after Fresnius, one of their players, with at the break. We had served 39 times and served her 36 of the 39. Yeah. So that's good stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? That shows your team's doing what they need to do.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pointed it out because it was a Nevada squad that came in here. Boy, they're young to start with, and then you want to talk about Colorado State suffering through some injuries. That team has just had such a rough go, so you pick the one thing that's functioning. Right. Not only that, she's uncorking that giant jump serve, so even when she's on the back row, she's expending a lot of energy. Right. So you end up getting the 3-0 sweep over Nevada that day. You powered your way through it. One of the things in that match that I kind of noticed was happening was I call it the neutral zone above the tape. There was an awful lot of passing from both sides getting into that area. It really forced your front row to be athletic and get up top. And I thought you won the majority of those battles. You did it with Polina Hogarth-Jensen. You started with Kirsty Hillier, and then Alexandra Paletto came in the game. How did you like how your middles played?
I thought they were good, and Kirsty started off struggling with a couple of unforced errors. We put Alexandra, we call her Axie. We put her in the game. She had a pretty good match, so we left her in. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was working. I think probably Kirsty would have had just as good of a match, but it was working for us. And, I felt like we have 3 good players, and it kept all 3 of them engaged.
Yeah, and kept them fresh as well, because now Colorado State turns over the schedule. You start seeing teams for the second time. The Rams will head out on the road to the University of New Mexico as well as UNLV. What do you do from a coaching perspective now that you're seeing another team for the second time around? What worries you about those?
Well, they're going to be better, and you have to expect them to be better. That's really what's most important. And they're also on the road, so they're always going to be better in their own gym. And you, as a coach preparing for that, the natural instinct is go, let's just do the same thing we did. But you don't want to do that. You want to figure out what they're doing better, bring it to the attention of your team, really focus on it, and have your team go into that match with a little bit of an edge. And that's going to be our theme this week. Let's get an edge.
Try and get some tweaks in that game plan, because as head coach Tom Hilbert mentioned, everyone is getting better, and they're all chasing the Rams, who sit atop the Mountain West standings, still undefeated, but a long way yet to go. Coach, congratulations on 700. Good luck on the road.
Thanks.
That'll do it for us here from Moby Arena. We hope to see you back here at Moby when Colorado State welcomes in Wyoming for a border war showdown. If the standings stay the way they are, it's going to be a matchup between 1 and 2. You don't want to miss it. Be sure to check back here for all the action from the road trip, as well as pick up your tickets for the match at csurams.com. Thanks. See you next week, folks.